My name is Steve Jobs. I am the founder of Apple, the world's first trillion-dollar company. How I managed my life and career as a visionary leader. I never separated my life from my work. For me, they were the same thing. What I built, how I led, and how I lived all came from one belief. Life is too short to do work that doesn't matter. My role as a visionary was not something I planned. It was something I became by trusting intuition, demanding excellence, and refusing to settle for ordinary. This is how I managed my life and career around that idea. I live by intuition, not convention. Early in my life, I learned something important. You can't connect the dots looking forward. You can only connect them looking backward. That belief shaped every major decision I made. I dropped out of college not because I didn't value learning, but because I wanted freedom to learn what truly interested me. Calligraphy classes, philosophy, design, and spirituality didn't look practical at the time. Years later, they became the soul of Apple products. As a visionary, I trusted intuition over logic when logic had no clear answer. In leadership, this meant making decisions others didn't understand yet, but would later appreciate. I chose meaning over comfort. Managing life as a visionary requires courage. It's easier to follow safe paths, accept established rules, and avoid criticism. I did the opposite. I constantly asked myself one question. If today were the last day of my life, would I want to do what I'm about to do today? If the answer was no too many times, I changed something. This mindset guided my career decisions. I didn't chase money. I didn't chase titles. I chased meaning. Ironically, meaning created impact, and impact created success. I treated business as a creative act. I never believed business was just about numbers. To me, business was art. Apple was built at the intersection of technology, design, humanity. My role as a visionary was to keep that intersection alive. Engineers cared about performance. Designers cared about beauty. I cared about how it all felt to a human being. Leadership meant constantly asking, is this simple enough? Is this elegant enough? Does this empower people? When leaders treat business as creativity, teams stop thinking like employees and start thinking like artists. I managed my career through extreme focus. One of my most important leadership principles was focus. When I returned to Apple in 1997, the company was nearly dead. Too many products, too many ideas, no clarity. My solution was simple but painful. Cut almost everything. Visionaries don't add, they remove. By focusing on a few great products, we were able to put our best people, best thinking, and best energy into what mattered most. This approach didn't just save Apple, it defined its future. In life and leadership, focus is not about saying yes. It's about having the courage to say no. I demanded excellence, especially from myself. My leadership style was intense. Some people found it difficult. That's fair. But my intensity came from a deep belief. People are capable of more than they think. I pushed teams hard because I pushed myself hard. I hated mediocrity, not people. Average work bothered me because customers deserve better. As a visionary leader, my job was not to be liked. My job was to protect the product, protect the vision, protect the future of the company. True leadership is responsibility, not popularity. I learned from failure without losing confidence. Being fired from Apple, the company I founded, was the most painful moment of my career. It felt like public failure, but it saved me. Failure stripped away ego and brought back curiosity. I started next. I grew Pixar. I learned patience. I learned how to lead creative people without crushing them. When I returned to Apple, I was still demanding, but I was wiser. Visionary leadership requires resilience. You must be able to fail without losing belief in yourself. I built my life around simplicity. As my career grew more complex, I made my life simpler. I believe simplicity was not just a design principle, it was a way of living. Clear thinking requires uncluttered space. This philosophy showed up everywhere. Simple product lines, simple messaging, simple user experiences. And personally, I tried to strip life down to what mattered. Ideas, people, purpose. Complexity creates noise. Simplicity creates power. I led by taste, not consensus. I didn't rely on focus groups or majority opinions. I relied on taste. Taste is developed by caring deeply, by exposing yourself to great ideas, by learning from art, history, and culture. As a visionary, my leadership came from knowing what was right, even when others disagreed. Consensus is comforting, but it rarely creates breakthroughs. Leaders are paid to decide, not to vote. I integrated life, health, and purpose. Later in my life, illness forced clarity. Facing mortality sharpened my focus. It reminded me that legacy is not about how long you live, but about what you leave behind. I learned that managing life and career as a visionary means choosing purpose over ego, impact over comfort, depth over speed. Every decision became more intentional. My leadership philosophy in one idea, if I had to summarize how I manage my life and career, it would be this: care deeply, focus relentlessly, trust intuition, demand excellence, and never settle for average. Visionary leadership is not a position. It's a way of seeing the world and having the courage to shape it. Final reflection. I didn't manage my life and career separately. I managed them as one creative act. I believed life is short, work should matter, great things require courage, and the people crazy enough to think they can change the world usually do. That belief guided everything I did. Subscribe for more business and marketing videos.